Let's take a totally dry, clean guitar sound. Add some fuzz. Via my Boss Hyper Fuzz. Let's add some phase via Dunlop Phase 95. Starting to sound pretty sinister. And now the final touch. Let's add in some black hole reverb from an Eventide H9 using the WETTER box from the gig rig in parallel. Good people, what's up? It's Pete Thorn. Welcome to my studio. Hey, I want to show you this thing. It's the WETTER box from the gig rig, my buddy Daniel at the gig rig. The gig rig makes all kinds of cool stuff. The main thing that comes to mind is switching systems, pedal board switching systems for guitar pedal boards. Just really ingenious stuff. And my buddy Daniel, there's a great guy. He comes up with all kinds of really cool ideas. And this one right here is no slouch. What the WETTER box allows you to do is blend in your effects, mainly time-based effects like chorus, delay, reverb, all that kind of good stuff, in ways that maybe you've never been able to do before. The standard way to plug in effects is generally all in series. So, you know, you run your guitar into a bunch of pedals and maybe then the effects loop send your amp out to some more effects and you run through all those and then you come back into your amp and then the sound comes out of the speaker cabinet. Well, you're running through all that stuff in series, one after another, right? And the sound can become kind of somewhat diffuse, diluted. If you're running through digital boxes, you can get things like latency. So the cool thing about the WETTER box is what it lets you do is run your effects in parallel instead. That means your core guitar tone can stay raw, direct, punchy without any kind of latency or anything like that introduced from digital effects, and then you can just blend in the effects along with that core dry guitar sound. The WETTER box can be used in mono or stereo. You can patch in one effect unit or two. I'm just patching in one in this video. You can control it via a remote switch jack here so that you can bypass it if you want, if you want to use it with, say, something like the gig rig's pedal switchers, and then you want to remotely switch it in and out to turn your effects on and off. And then there's also an expression pedal jack here so that if you want to blend in effects and control them via expression pedal, you can do that, which is really, really cool, I think. Basically, I think what that does is it takes the place of this big mix knob right here and lets you do that via pedal. Okay, so now a little bit more on series parallel effects, and then I'm going to show you some more sound examples. Usually what happens when you patch in an effect, let's say into the effects loop of an amplifier like my PT15 here. If I patched in my Eventide H9 effect unit, so in other words, the effects send from the amplifier would go to the input of the effect. The output of the effect will come back into the amplifier. Okay, what happens then is generally the amp is going to send its preamp signal out to the effect, and then it's going to go through an A to D, analog to digital converter. Your sound will get digitized, it'll pass through whatever effects that you want to use, and you'll mix in your dry signal along with that effect at whatever level that you like. Then you're going to go through a digital to analog converter, come back out, go into the return of the amplifier. Okay, this works pretty good in most modern effects units, but your sound does get digitized, and there's always a little bit of latency added. Okay, analog to digital conversion just does that no matter what. There's no way around it. So the great thing about running in parallel using something like the WETTER box is that you can preserve your core dry guitar tone. There's no latency added. As a matter of fact, the sound never gets digitized or anything like that at all. It simply comes into the WETTER box from the effects end of your amplifier, comes back out of the WETTER box, right back into the effects return, and it's untouched. So your dry tone stays super punchy, super pristine. Then what happens is, with the effects loop in the WETTER box, effects loop B, the way I'm running it right now, I can come out of the WETTER box into my H9, out of the H9, back into the WETTER box. I set the effect unit for kill dry, 100% wet, so there's no dry signal in it at all. And then using the mix knob here and the gain B knob, I can blend in that effect at whatever level I like, but my dry tone never gets touched. So that's what's really cool. I'm just going to turn on my DAW here, and I'm going to play and show you my core dry tone with no delay mixed in. Okay, now all I got to do is raise the, actually lower, because it's a mix knob, I got it set 100% dry to the right now. So all I got to do is change this control right here, and it's going to start blending in delay from the H9. Once again, if I turn that control down, I'm mixing out the effect 100%, but the gist of it is that that dry, core, pristine tube guitar tone never gets digitized. Same deal for any kind of modulation effects like rotary speaker, chorus, any of that stuff. Really cool to blend it in parallel. Your core dry tone will stay totally intact, and then you just blend in the effect. So here's dry. Okay, and then blending in rotary speaker effect. Thanks for watching my video on the WETTER box from the Gig Rig. This is a really cool device that is going to allow you to get some guitar tones that maybe you've never been able to get before. If you've never played through effects in parallel, it's a great feeling. It's just like your guitar tone feels so punchy and raw, and yet you can blend in a lot of effect and get plenty of, wet stuff going with reverbs and delays, and somehow it just feels less soupy, and the whole thing feels more defined and dynamic than when running in series. Great that you can use it in front of your amp as well on a pedal board, or you can use it in the effects loop. So you can check it out further at the website that you see there on your screen. And hey, please hit subscribe if you haven't. Hit the little bell beside the subscribe button, and then you will get an alert every time I put out a new video. I am Pete Thorn. You guys take care. Over and out.